This is the Ferrari 296 GTB, and it's a little bit like Max Verstappen because everyone's saying how it's just so much better.
The Ferrari 296 GTB was supposed to be the future, a car that would redefine what a modern supercar could be. And from the moment it was revealed in 2021, the entire automotive world reacted exactly the way Ferrari hoped it would. People were amazed, excited, and completely pulled into the story Ferrari was telling. This was not just another fast car. It was a bold step forward, powered by a twin-turbo V6 hybrid system producing over 800 horsepower, delivering insane performance numbers like 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. On paper, it sounded perfect. It looked futuristic. It carried the Ferrari badge, and it promised cutting-edge technology mixed with everyday usability. For many buyers, especially YouTubers and influencers, it felt like the perfect opportunity. This was the kind of car you could show off, build content around, and still stay in Ferrari's good books for future opportunities. Because in the Ferrari world, buying a car is not always just about the car itself. It is often about access. People believe that owning a 296 GTB could open doors to more exclusive Ferraris in the future. So the hype exploded. Delivery videos flooded YouTube. Thumbnails showed smiling owners picking up their dream cars. The music was emotional. The reactions felt huge, and the comments were full of people celebrating the moment. Everything looked perfect. But hidden behind all that excitement was a question that almost nobody was asking at the time. Why were so many people buying this specific car so quickly? Was it really love for the machine, or was it something else entirely? As time passed, it slowly became clear that the Ferrari 296 GTB was not always a passion purchase for many buyers, especially the loudest voices online. Instead, it was part of a bigger system, a strategy that has existed in the supercar world for years. Ferrari does not just sell cars. It sells relationships, loyalty, and long-term access to more exclusive models. If you want a rare Ferrari in the future, you often have to prove your loyalty today by buying what is currently available. The 296 GTB became that stepping stone. It was the car people bought not necessarily because they dreamed about it, but because they believed it would help them get something better later. In simple words, it was like buying a ticket to stay in the game. Many YouTubers followed this path. They bought the car, created content, enjoyed the attention, and stayed close to Ferrari's network. But this created a strange situation where the car itself was not always the main focus. It became more of a tool, a way to maintain status and future opportunities. This is why, looking back, the hype around the 296 GTB now feels a little different. It feels less organic and more calculated. Many of those smiling delivery videos were not just about excitement. They were also about strategy. People were investing in a system, not just enjoying a car. And when a product is bought for reasons other than pure passion, it often leads to problems later, especially when the market starts to change. Eventually, reality started to catch up, and the first signs of trouble appeared in the used car market. At first, it was subtle. A few listings appeared online, then more. Then suddenly, the same Ferrari 296 GTB was everywhere. This was not how Ferrari cars usually behave. Ferrari builds its reputation on scarcity, making its cars feel rare and difficult to obtain. But now, the market was showing something different. There were too many cars and not enough buyers who truly wanted them. As supply increased, prices began to fall. Not overnight, but steadily and clearly. For people who had bought the car at peak prices, this was a painful moment. The value of their expensive purchase was dropping, sometimes by tens of thousands or even more. This is where the emotional side of ownership started to crack. Buying a Ferrari is not just a financial decision. It is also about pride, status, and the feeling of owning something special. But when you see many identical cars listed for sale at lower prices, that feeling begins to fade. The illusion of exclusivity disappears. Some well-known creators even started talking openly about their losses. Selling a car for far less than what you paid is never easy, especially when your audience is watching. It turns what was supposed to be a dream into a lesson. And once people start talking about losses publicly, the entire narrative changes. The hype begins to break, and others start questioning their own decisions. One of the biggest reasons behind this shift is the difference between the Ferrari 296 GTB and older Ferrari models. Cars like the 458 or the F8 carry something special that goes beyond numbers. They represent the end of an era. The 458, for example, is often seen as one of the last naturally aspirated Ferraris, delivering a sound and feeling that many people believe cannot be replaced. The F8 feels like a final chapter of a specific type of engineering. These cars have emotional weight. They are not just machines. They are experiences. The 296 GTB, on the other hand, is a transition car. It represents the move toward hybrid technology and a more software-driven future. While it is faster and more advanced in many ways, it does not connect with buyers in the same emotional way. And when markets become uncertain, people stop paying extra for technology alone. They start looking for meaning, history, and feeling. This is why older models often hold their value better. They offer something that cannot easily be replaced. The 296 GTB, despite being impressive, feels like a step in a larger process rather than a final, complete statement. And in the world of luxury cars, that difference matters a lot. The situation became even more serious when a well-known car YouTuber, Matt Armstrong, decided to rebuild a crashed Ferrari 296 GTB. This is something he has done many times before with different cars. He buys damaged vehicles, repairs them using proper parts, and brings them back to life. His process is transparent, detailed, and trusted by his audience. So when he started working on the 296 GTB, people expected another successful rebuild story. And at first, everything went as planned. The physical repairs were completed. The car was put back together carefully. But then something unexpected happened. The car showed a fault, not because of a broken part, but because of software. This was not something that could be fixed with tools alone. It required access to Ferrari's official systems. Without that access, the car could not function properly. This created a shocking situation. A fully rebuilt, physically complete Ferrari was unable to operate because of digital restrictions. It was not broken in the traditional sense. It was locked. This raised serious questions about ownership. If you buy a car, repair it properly, and still cannot use it without the manufacturer's approval, do you really own it? This moment changed the conversation completely. It was no longer just about price drops or market trends. It became about control. What happened with that rebuild highlighted a much bigger issue that goes beyond just one car. Modern vehicles are becoming more dependent on software, and that software is often controlled by the manufacturer. This means that even if you physically own the car, your ability to use, repair, or modify it can be limited. In the past, if something broke, you could fix it or take it to an independent mechanic. You had options. Now, those options are slowly disappearing. Cars are becoming more like digital devices, where access is restricted and controlled. This shift changes the meaning of ownership. Instead of full control, you get conditional access. You can use the car, but only within certain rules set by the manufacturer. For many people, this is a worrying trend. It feels like the freedom traditionally associated with car ownership is being reduced. The Ferrari 296 GTB became a clear example of this issue because of how visible the situation was. People could see the problem in real time through online content. It made the concept of right to repair more real and urgent. This is not just about luxury cars. It is about the future of all vehicles in the end. The Ferrari 296 GTB is still an incredible machine. Its performance, design, and technology are truly impressive. But the story around it has revealed something deeper about the modern car industry. It showed how hype can drive decisions, how market dynamics can change quickly, and how technology can shift the balance of control between owners and manufacturers. Many people bought the car for reasons that had little to do with passion, and when those reasons stopped working, the reality became clear. Prices dropped, confidence faded, and questions started to grow. The biggest lesson from this situation is simple. A car should be something you truly want, not something you feel forced to buy for future benefits. Because if the system changes or the market turns, you are left with the reality of your decision. And in a world where software can control so much, that reality becomes even more complicated. The Ferrari 296 GTB was sold as a future, but for many people, it became a reminder that not everything that looks perfect at the beginning stays. At waypoint, one of the most interesting parts of this entire story is how car YouTubers played a huge role in both building and breaking the image of the Ferrari 296 GTB. In the beginning, they were the biggest supporters of the car. Every new delivery video felt like a celebration. Creators showed emotional reactions, cinematic shots, and detailed first drives that made the car look like the ultimate dream machine. For viewers, especially younger audiences, these videos created a strong desire. It was not just about owning a Ferrari anymore. It was about owning this Ferrari. The 296 GTB became a symbol of success, a car that represented reaching the top. But YouTube works in a very specific way. Content needs to stay fresh. What is exciting today becomes normal tomorrow. And when creators move on, the hype often moves with them. That is exactly what happened here. After the initial wave of excitement, many YouTubers slowly stopped featuring the 296 GTB. Some sold their cars quietly. Others replaced them with new projects. The focus shifted, and the car that once dominated thumbnails started disappearing from feeds. This created a powerful signal in the market. When the same people who were promoting something stop talking about it, audiences notice. It raises questions. Was the car really that special, or was it just a moment? This shift did not happen loudly. It happened slowly, almost silently, but its impact was huge. The same platforms that built the hype also played a role in exposing its weaknesses. And once that cycle starts, it is very difficult to reverse. Ferrari has always been known for controlling supply carefully. The idea of scarcity is central to its brand. When something is rare, people want it more. It feels special, exclusive, and valuable. For years, this strategy worked perfectly. Ferrari could release a car, limit production, and maintain strong demand. But with the 296 GTB, something changed. The balance between supply and demand did not hold the same way. Too many cars entered the market too quickly, and not enough buyers were emotionally connected to them. This broke the illusion. Scarcity is not just about numbers. It is about perception. If people believe something is everywhere, even if it is technically limited, it loses its appeal. That is exactly what happened. Online listings started to feel crowded. The same model appeared again and again. Instead of feeling rare, it started to feel common. And once that perception changes, the entire value system collapses. Buyers become more cautious. Sellers become more aggressive. Prices start to drop faster. It becomes a cycle that feeds itself. The Ferrari 296 GTB did not fail because it was a bad car. It struggled because the emotional and psychological system around it did not hold strong enough. And in the luxury market, perception is often just as important as reality. Another important part of this story is a financial lesson that many buyers either ignored or underestimated. Supercars are often seen as assets, especially when it comes to brands like Ferrari. People believe that these cars will hold their value, or even increase over time. And in some cases, that belief is correct. But it depends heavily on the model, timing, and market conditions. The problem with the Ferrari 296 GTB is that many buyers entered at the peak of hype. They paid high prices based on excitement and expectations, not long-term stability. When the market started to adjust, the gap between what they paid and what the car was worth became very clear. This gap can be painful. Losing money on a car is not unusual, but losing a large amount in a short time feels very different. It creates stress and forces difficult decisions. Some owners chose to sell quickly to avoid further losses. Others held on, hoping the market would recover. But the situation showed something very important. Buying a car based on strategy or future expectations is risky. Markets change, trends shift, and when they do, the logic behind your purchase may no longer apply. The 296 GTB became a real example of this risk. It showed that even in the world of high-end cars, there are no guarantees. The Ferrari 296 GTB also represents a bigger shift in the automotive world, a move from mechanical simplicity to technological complexity. Older cars were easier to understand. Their systems were more direct. If something went wrong, the problem was usually physical and could be fixed with the right tools and knowledge. Modern cars, especially hybrid supercars like the 296, are very different. They rely on advanced electronics, software systems, and integrated components that are much harder to manage outside official networks. This creates a divide between old and new ownership experiences. Some people love the new technology. They enjoy the performance, efficiency, and innovation it brings. Others feel that something important is being lost. The connection between driver and machine becomes less direct. The ability to fully control and maintain the car becomes limited. This is not just about Ferrari. It is happening across the entire industry. But because Ferrari represents the top level of automotive passion, changes like this feel more significant. The 296 GTB sits right in the middle of this transition. It offers incredible performance, but also introduces new challenges that many owners are not fully prepared for. And as this trend continues, it will become an even bigger topic in the future. Looking forward, the story of the Ferrari 296 GTB may be remembered as an early example of a much larger shift in how people experience car ownership. The idea of fully owning a vehicle, being able to repair it, modify it, and control it without restrictions, is slowly changing. In its place, a new model is emerging, one where access is managed, systems are controlled, and independence is limited. For some people, this may not be a problem. They are happy to stay within the official network and follow the rules. But for others, especially enthusiasts and independent builders, it raises serious concerns. The passion for cars has always been linked to freedom, creativity, and personal expression. When those elements are reduced, the experience changes. The Ferrari 296 GTB is not just a car. It is a symbol of this transition. It shows both the incredible possibilities of modern engineering and the potential downsides of increased control. In the end, every buyer has to decide what matters most to them. Performance, technology, and brand prestige are important, but so are freedom and ownership. This story reminds us that behind every exciting new product, there are deeper questions worth asking. And sometimes, those questions only become clear after the hype fades away as more information about the Ferrari 296 GTB started coming out. The reaction from the car community began to change in a noticeable way. At first, most people were excited, influenced by the early reviews and the wave of positive content online. But once real ownership experiences started appearing, especially the stories about falling prices and software-related issues, the tone began to shift. Comments under videos became more critical. Instead of pure excitement, there were questions, doubts, and even frustration. People started asking whether the car was truly worth the money, or if it was just another example of modern hype. Forums, social media pages, and YouTube comment sections turned into places where owners and viewers shared their thoughts openly. Some defended the car, pointing out its performance and innovation. Others focused on the negatives, especially the idea that ownership might not be as simple as it used to be. This kind of divided opinion is important because it shows how public perception evolves over time. A product can go from being universally praised to heavily debated in just a few months. And once that debate begins, it becomes part of the car's identity. The Ferrari 296 GTB is no longer just known for its speed or design. It is now also known for the conversation around it. And in today's digital world, that conversation can shape how a product is remembered for years. Despite all the criticism and concerns, it is important to understand that not everyone sees a Ferrari 296 GTB in a negative way. There are still many owners and enthusiasts who genuinely appreciate what the car offers. From a purely technical point of view, it is an incredible achievement. The hybrid system provides instant power, the handling is precise, and the overall driving experience is unlike most cars on the road. For some people, these qualities are enough. They are not worried about market trends or resale value. They bought the car because they enjoy driving it, and for them, that is what matters most. This perspective highlights an important truth. Not every buyer is influenced by the same factors. While some people focus on investment and future returns, others focus on personal enjoyment. The Ferrari 296 GTB can still deliver a thrilling experience, and for those who value that above everything else, it remains a great choice. This balance between criticism and appreciation is what makes the story more complex. It is not a simple case of a good or bad product. It is a situation where different priorities lead to different conclusions, and understanding both sides is key to seeing the full picture. Ferrari is not just a car manufacturer. It is one of the most powerful brands in the world, and that plays a huge role in how its products are perceived. When people buy a Ferrari, They are not just buying a vehicle. They are buying into a legacy, a history of racing success, and a global symbol of luxury and performance. This creates a strong sense of loyalty among customers. Many Ferrari owners stay within the brand for years, moving from one model to another. This loyalty is part of Ferrari's strategy. By maintaining close relationships with customers and controlling access to certain models, Ferrari creates a system where people feel connected and invested. The Ferrari 296 GTB fits into this system as a stepping stone, a car that helps maintain that connection. Even if it is not the most emotionally loved model, it still serves a purpose within the larger brand structure. This is why some buyers continue to support it, even when the market shows signs of weakness. They are not just thinking about the present. They are thinking about their long-term relationship with Ferrari. And in that context, the 296 GTB becomes more than just a car. It becomes part of a bigger journey within the brand. When you look at the full story of the Ferrari 296 GTB, it becomes clear that this is more than just a single model facing criticism. It represents a turning point in car culture. It shows how the industry is changing, how technology is reshaping ownership, and how online platforms influence perception in powerful ways. The car itself is not a failure. It is fast, advanced, and beautifully engineered. But the situation around it reveals important lessons. It shows the risks of buying into hype, the impact of market dynamics, and the growing importance of software in modern vehicles. For car enthusiasts, this is a moment to reflect. The things that once defined car ownership, like mechanical simplicity and full control, are evolving. In their place, new systems are emerging, bringing both benefits and challenges. The Ferrari 296 GTB sits right at the center of this change. It is a glimpse into the future, not just in terms of performance, but in terms of how we interact with machines. And as this future becomes reality, the questions raised by this story will only become more important. In the end, the real value of this discussion is not just about one car. It is about understanding where the automotive world is heading and what that means for everyone who loves cars.